And now, live from the Snackboy Studios in Laurel, Maryland, USA, it's snack time.
Well, hello and welcome to Snackboy. It's obviously 3:15, and you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Do you really? That's right. You are here spending a little quality time with me in beautiful Laurel, Maryland. Today, I have a very special snack for you. Some of you have enjoyed the shows on my cousin James, remember? Nigger White James. And today, I've got another one. That's right, I'm going to bring you another snack with Nigger White James. Well, it's an interesting story. This one happened very recently. Terry, how recently? It seems to me like you've been in that Snackboy studio for quite some time. Well, yes. But before Snackboy began, the last job I had, the most recent job I had, was roofing. Roofing with, that's right, Nigger White James. James is my cousin who's about 2 years younger than I am. And me being 25, going on 26, that would make Nigger White James a good 23-ish, 24-ish. Anyway, he was roofing, and he invited me to come along and work with him. And I did that for about, I think, maybe a month, 5 weeks. And one day he called me up and he said, "Hey, Terry," because that's how he talks. Yes, he does. He talks kind of like this. He said, "Hey, Terry, I got a job for you to do. It's in a bad neighborhood, so you need to not dress too preppy." I said, "James, what are you talking about, dress preppy?" "You know what I'm talking about. You just better not dress like you dress. It's an Anacostia." That's right, kids, Anacostia. Well, to our fans who don't live near Laurel, who are either in Europe or in other parts of the country, Anacostia is a very, very dangerous neighborhood. I mean, it is equivalent to the worst alley in New York. It's just very dangerous, and you've always got to watch your back. But money's money, and I welcome the chance to work with Nigger White James and Anacostia, so I did. I put on an old, beat-up sweatshirt, you know. I was very careful that it didn't have any colors. You might say, "Terry, what are the colors?" Well, the colors are when you're in one of the big gangs, like the Bloods or the Crips. You know, you wear the blues or you wear the greens. And I, of course, didn't want to be confused, not that I probably would anyway, with a Blood or a Crip. Anyway, long story short, we got in the car. We put the ladder on the roof, and that's right, James and I, after a good day at Arthur Treacher's, went down to Anacostia, and we climbed up on the ladder, and we started roofing. Well, anyway, out of nowhere comes a bum with an afro. This guy, I was on the top of the roof, but I was about 2 stories away from him, and he was smelling some funky. He was wearing an old moth-eaten coat, and he had an afro, and under the afro, that's right, you could even see a little bit of a hairnet, like he was a cook at Big Boys or something. Long story short, it was a beautiful sunny day, and he was out in the clear open, and he was looking around, and he started walking towards someone's car. Well, James and I looked at each other in the same instant, and we said, James goes, "I know that ain't his car." And it was, sure enough, it wasn't his car. He looked around, he opened the door, and settled himself into this big blue Chevrolet, old, beat-up, funky blue Chevrolet. And then he went down under the seat. I couldn't tell what he was doing. So we looked at each other, and he's like, "What you think he's doing there, Terry?" And I said, "James, I have no idea, but I don't think it's good. Maybe he's stealing the radio." "He ain't stealing no radio. He does have a screwdriver." You know, anyway, long story short, the car started to fog up and smoke up. And before you know it, this neighbor comes out and starts walking toward the car. And he sees him in there, and he starts banging on the window. He's like, "You better get out of there. I'm going to go tell Sharonda." That's right. He was smoking crack in Sharonda's car. Long story short, he runs over to this house. It was a tenement building. He starts pounding like Good Times. He starts pounding on the door. He's like, "Sharonda, get out here. Sharonda. Sharonda, he's up to it again. He's up to that shit again. Sharonda." She opens the door, and she comes out, and Sharonda is not too pleased. Well, Sharonda was livid, and Sharonda was wearing her best halter top, and she started sashaying down toward her car, and she started banging on the window, and she's like, "You get out of my car! You get out of my car! What you think you're smoking crack in my car?" And long story short, her boyfriend, long story short, I say that too much, her boyfriend came out, and he was a muscle dude. He was like, "What you doing in Sharonda's car? What you doing in there? You better, I told you to cut that beep, beep out. What you doing in there? You get the beep out of the Sharonda's car. I'm going to beep you up, mother beep, beep, beep." You know, here's the funny part. I don't know how long crack takes to ingest into the system, but I can tell you one thing. It doesn't take long. This guy was as high as a kite and as happy as a kid at Christmas time. He got out of Sharonda's car, right? And this big dude must have been a good 3 feet taller than them. And he looked down. He's like, "What you doing in there?" And he just had this smile on his face, just like it was all good. So I made a joke. I said, "Hey James, think we could go down there and smoke a little crack in Sharonda's car too?" He's like, "Shut up, Tur! Shut up! You're gonna hear me. You're gonna embarrass me. I know people in this neighborhood, and you're gonna act all vanilla on me. Shut up! Don't you talk till I tell you talk, Tur!" I was like, and so when I knew I was embarrassing James, of course I had to turn it up a little bit.